Gray Thuds move on to face the Dark Lancers in the quarterfinals. We've seen a couple interesting fights so far this tournament. First, the Dark Lancers knocked the Short Circuit out of the tournament in a battle that I definitely thought would go more towards the Short Circuit side as soon as the Dark Lancers fell off their horses. But no, they prevailed and pulled through, showing that defensive capabilities are certainly able to do well in this tournament. And they will be facing off against the Gray Thuds, who have forsaken almost all of their defensive capabilities in favor of speed and melee prowess. Now let's move on to see the Yellow Horde take on the Green Geckos in a battle of numbers versus cavalry capabilities in the arena of the Spike Pit Corridor. At least we know the Green Geckos won't get dismounted this time around, but will that be enough for them to take on the Yellow Horde and keep in this tournament? Let's go to the arena and find out. Alright, we have both teams loaded into their waiting areas. As you can recall, the Green Geckos are a mounted unit that rides lizards which are capable of crawling up walls to a certain extent. And the Yellow Horde is living up to its name truly, for they have the largest army in this entire tournament. Their units are pretty basic, but they have an overwhelming amount of them. No range attacks, barely an upgrade in terms of damage. But man, I would not want to face them myself. So, who will be able to knock each other off their mounts and claim victory in the tournament? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1. Battle begin! And here we can see the Yellow Horde is making its way across the arena. It looks like some of them may not have found their horses, or they have lost their horses to the spike pit traps. And it is one gigantic mess of melee, all falling on the Green Gecko side. Several people have lost their mounts in this dangerous arena, but that shouldn't matter too much, as both of them are fairly equal in terms of offensive capabilities. It looks like the Green Geckos, however, are suffering the heaviest amount of losses. The Yellow Horde just has an overwhelming amount of troops, capable of doing far more damage over time, as they can outlast in terms of sheer numbers. That said, the Green Geckos have managed to make a pretty decent dent into the Yellow Horde's numbers, dropping them down by a whole 15 units. However, the Green Geckos themselves have lost twice as many units, so far losing a total of 32 units, make up 33, 34. They just keep on dying now, falling like proverbial flies. The battles become fairly difficult to watch as it keeps on moving in and out of the Green Gecko spawn point. But with only 3 more geckos to go, make that 2, this battle looks like it is over. And that is it. The last Green Gecko has fallen. The Yellow Horde have claimed victory yet again, and even captured some of the Green Gecko's mounts for themselves. Unfortunately, they can't bring those mounts into the next battle. Alright, let's get this cleaned up and move on to the final match in the left side tier. And the Yellow Horde has moved on to the quarterfinals, proving once again that their sheer amount of numbers on a team can make up for the lack of any ranged capability. But who shall face them in their quarterfinal match? Will it be Mage-Enta or Cyan Sailors? And can either of them even withstand the awesome might of the sheer amount of units the Yellow Horde can throw at the opposite team? Let's see which one will win and where they will be fighting. Frost River Valley. Alright, let's get over to the arena and see if Mage-Enta can manage to use their mystical powers to knock the Cyan Sailors off their turtles, or if the Cyan Sailors will be able to reflect some of those spells back at Mage-Enta. And both teams are loaded in and ready to fight in the Frost River Valley. Mage-Enta, this is their chance to show that they can go far in this tournament, that they can be powerful with their mystical might, with their lightning bolts and flaming attacks. But will they be able to get past the defensive capabilities of the mounted units known as Cyan Sailors? Can they dismount them from their turtles and claim victory? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin. And they are off, slowly creeping out of their respective spawn areas. Mage-Enta making the farthest moves towards the slower moving Cyan turtles. Even the Cyan Sailors. Let's get an aerial view for this fight, as there is plenty of obstacles in the way to prevent us from seeing. Mage-Enta taking some fairly heavy losses. It may be that the Cyan Sailors' range attacks are just a little bit better than Mage-Enta. Mage-Enta doing a few damaging blows, keeping the Cyan Sailors within range of their own units' amounts. But Cyan Sailors, they're just maintaining that small little lead over Mage-Enta. Mage-Enta, they seem to be out of their range attacks. They have nothing left but slow range attacks, keeping the Cyan Sailors, who already move quite slow, even slower. But the Cyan Sailors, they have plenty of healing capabilities packed in their tight little bodies as they chow down on some mushrooms, maintaining their health. That probably is what's going to keep Cyan Sailors in this tournament. Mage-Enta not doing too well. They are down to only 10 units now. Cyan Sailors have almost double their number. That is not a good sign for Mage-Enta. And Mage-Enta is just dwindling very slowly. It looks like one of Mage-Enta have actually captured a Cyan Sailor turtle. That probably is going to be enough to keep them alive a little bit longer in this fight, but nope, they are gone now. They have been killed. Every single Mage-Enta is eliminated. Sad day for them. They no longer are able to participate. It just seems that their magical capabilities were not good enough this time around. Perhaps in another tournament they will go much farther.